What's going on, everybody? How are we? We're back. Good evening. We're back. Not on a Sunday. Not on a Sunday. We are back on a Thursday today. Big stuff going on today. For the last week. Big request to go live today. It was actually a big request. I wasn't going to, but it's so much to cover this week. This whole week is so much to cover. You know, for me, I tend to not do as much. I let it leave to the specialists, hoops are and stuff like that. But you know what? Let's have a live stream today. Go on, let's have a live stream. Let's get people in here. Let's have a chat. Let's see what's going on. Hopefully you're all having a good evening. 7 o'clock. We're keeping it at 7 o'clock, usual time, so that everyone can catch it after work, whatever they're doing. Hopefully you're all having a good evening. Who we got in the chat? We got Leo Watts. I'll be the Super Hoops, or I'll be here Super Hoops, I should say. Well, Leo Watts, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. We got Paul as always. Hey DB, you good, mate? I'm good, man. Couldn't be better apart from the heat. Hopefully you all stay in cool in this heat wave. Again, flipping nightmare. But thank you for tuning in, Paul. H Football, hey, how are you, mate? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. We got the big man Foley in. Hey DB, bro. Everyone give a shout out to Foley, the main man. Day one, as well as Ryan, as well as some others as well. I don't see them in the chat here at the moment, but let's give him a whole fucking shout out, all these day ones here, Foley. So yeah, but look, I'm looking at these the messages. We're gonna get so much into this right now. So I'll be honest, let's start from the beginning. So Joe Walsh looks like he's gone. Well, he has gone, I should say. We're not no rumors anymore around here. So Joe Walsh has officially gone out on loan to Wigan Athletic, and I think it's a good move for him. I really do, you know. I was going to put it out there on a little clip today, social media, that I was going to record while I was at work, but I thought I'd leave it for now. But yeah, Joe Walsh has officially left QPR on loan to Wigan Athletic. Going to spend some time in League One, he is. I think it's a good move for him for 24-year-old keeper. Listen, he's under the best goalkeeper coach in Wigan, in Kevin Miller. Pretty decent goalkeeper coach. Worked with the person that we actually were in talks with, but obviously got priced out in can't remember the goalkeeper's name. You lot remember the name. He's gone to Bristol City. I can't remember the name. But yeah, he worked a lot with that guy who's gone to Bristol City. If you lot can put comments in there, let me know who it was again. I can't remember. Someone's going to put it in there. I know someone is. I can't remember what his name is again. I'm so bad with names, I'm telling you right now. Are we putting it in there? Someone's got to have the right answer. Someone's got to have the right... Sam Tickle, that's it. See, is on it. C is actually the one that wanted a live stream today as well. So yeah, Sam Tickle obviously went to Bristol City, apparently for a lot of money, for what I've heard. But yeah, Joe Walsh has gone there to replace Sam Tickle. It's a bit of a resemblance, in my opinion. You know, he's gone to learn under one of the best goalkeeping coaches, I should say, at Wigan. So I'm actually happy to see him go out on loan. Probably different emotions to other people. Look, Joe Walsh is, you know, and will always be a good goalkeeper. I say good for a reason, not great, a good, because I always say this, you know, with Nardi, him and Ben Hamer all last season and how they was, you know, a goalkeeper can only be as good as defense. That's how I see it, in my opinion. You know, Joe Walsh does need experience. He went into Julian Stefan's team pretty much straight away, and yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to see him picked over Nardi, but he was number one for Julian, so Julian sees something in him, and obviously going out on loan, I reckon he wants him to have some experience before anything else happens. You know, he can improve 100%, but it's down to whether he is trained in the right way, the way Julian wants him. And like I said, this season is all about Julian, okay? This season is about Julian. His transfers is going to be because of the way he plays and the way he wants his team to be. Obviously, like I said, Julian last season came in straight away, signings already, and some of the signings are probably not his type of signings, but he actually enjoyed using them signings. So I don't see them getting sold, but there will be some players being gone to bring in funds or a bit more quality that he wants to bring in. So, you know, Joe Walsh is gone. Now obviously Murphy Cooper, now that was a big question, because Murphy Cooper spent on loan last season at Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday. He did, and I feel like he done tremendous job at Barnsley, but I think it's come down to the fact being that he's not a main guy for Julian. It's that simple. I think Murphy Cooper will be going. Apparently a bid has been accepted, and yeah, 500 grand I think it is. They've said it might be a bit less because of the add-ons or whatever, but Plymouth Argyle, it looks set to sights on signing Murphy Cooper on a permanent basis. So listen, look, Murphy Cooper is a well-known keeper for everyone at QPR, you know, youngster. He's been tremendous for the development side and for on his loan spells constantly. You know, he's been out on loan too many times to sit here and say, you know, we can't send him out on loan again. You know, it's unfair on him. He needs to be settled. He needs to be at a club that wants him and plays him the way that they need. So yeah, Plymouth Argyle look set sights to sign him. Two okay keepers, I would say, going out. Now, like I said, I did say to you guys, and I hate it when I'm right. Sorry, I said to you this would happen. I said to you there would be a way of what Julian wants to play. There'll be a way that Julian wants his keeper, and one of the interviews, obviously today, obviously we've officially signed the keeper from Scotland. I just got to remember his name now. So QPR officially signed Callum Ward. Now, obviously, we were interested in quite a bit of acknowledgement from last season, if I remember. There was talks of him coming into January, he was at QPR, but nothing happened there. Now, Callum Ward for Motherwell has had a tremendous last season. Absolutely killed it, you know. He's young, technically still, 25, 26 years old. And he is definitely a Julian goalkeeper. You know, he even explained it in the interview that was made an hour ago. And pretty much basically, like I said last season, and I think some of you can back my words with this, with what I said, Julian's type of player is a person that wants to command the box, be vocal, and use the counterattacks. So we needed the keeper that was able to basically pick out the players up front as quick as possible on the run. And that's what Burrell wants, right? Burrell wants them balls put forward to him. And the videos that I've seen of Ward and everything like that, and he says it as well in confidence, he's that commanding goalkeeper in the box that we've needed for a while. He's at a good age to grow still. He could be worth quite a bit in the future if we do well with him. You know, I want him to communicate with the best defense that he can have. And that is Jimmy Dunn, Ronnie, Amadou and Benge, all of these guys. I don't know what's going on with Liam, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, this keeper looked interesting. I don't know great things about him, but I only know short things about him, where he's explained everything today in his interview, what type of keeper he is. We've seen videos, I've seen clips from obviously what they've done with QPR now, and I'm very intrigued to see what he does next season. I very am. I hope you guys are too, because we needed this. We really did. You know, a lot of people have been whinging about the goalkeeper situation for 2 seasons. Let's say 2 seasons since Nardi came in, right? Nardi for me has been phenomenal. I'll always love Nardi. I think he's brilliant. But to get a younger version in and go from there, I feel like we're onto something good now. You know, if we can keep, we've signed officially a keeper that very cheap and looks like he could be potentially our first team keeper for next season. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are. But going on from Ward, obviously more rumours have come onto the scene where we need another keeper because Murphy Cooper is going. So whether this is it looks like it's gonna happen. It does. And you know, I said it last season. I didn't say anything about bringing him in. I didn't say anything like that. But I was very interested in how young this keeper was and what he's done in the championship last season, which is phenomenal, you know. And everyone, Foley and everyone, all of you guys can back me on this, man, because I said this, right? Sheffield Wednesday last season, the toughest thing that they've done, and to go down and be saved by the last game of the season, as in the sense of still go down, but save them from being liquidated. I think every young player that got put into that squad and played last season for Sheffield Wednesday played their hearts out completely. I thought it was incredible. And one of those players that did really well, but I was not very confident in, obviously, he has potential, in my opinion. And that was Pierce. I think his name is Pierce. Pierce Charles. I think it's Pierce Charles, isn't it? I think it is. Let me just make sure I got the name right, because you lot might kill me. It is Pierce Charles. So, Pierce Charles last season for Sheffield Wednesday was phenomenal. In my opinion, I was shocked. I really was. For a young keeper the way he is. And the thing is, I was shocked because the fact being, I know we beat Sheffield Wednesday at home. A good scoreline for us. But what surprised me the most is that he doesn't look like the biggest keeper, and the things he was doing was incredible. You know, he was getting down low, he was getting high. You know, he was commanding the box pretty well for a young keeper, really well, and I was very impressed. You know, and like what I'm seeing in the comments right now, if this is what's happening right now, as in he's gone to Man City and he's chosen QPR over Wrexham to have some experience a bit more, is a bit of a confusing one, but I'm happy. I generally am happy, you know. Two decent keepers in one window. We have whoever's gonna be first. We have pretty much two first team championship keepers. That hasn't happened in a while, right? I know Nardi and Joe Walsh we can sit here and say, but in my opinion, Charles had a better season than Joe Walsh did. Okay, I know they got relegated, but he looks interesting. He's very interesting. So if it is been confirmed and he's passed his medical, like they're saying, welcome to the club, man. Honestly, Pierce Charles is going to be an exceptional signing for us on loan. You know, Man City, I see why they signed him. I know, look, I can't sit here and tell you he's great. I can't sit and tell you by stats wise or anything like that. Because for me, when I see decent talent, I will bring it up. And I said it with Harvey Vale, I said it with Ronnie, I said it with all these players. Paul Smith, stats, cool, they're great. But when you watch these players all together, right, it's something great that's going on at QPR at the moment, right? So it looks like we got Ward and Charles both in just in time before we go off to Austria. Two decent keepers in my opinion. And Solomon as well. You know, Solomon still needs experience, and we'll get onto this in a second, because like I said, a lot of shit has been said this today and the whole week, you know. So put your thoughts in the comments, what you think of these two signings. Honestly, I'm actually, like I said, the more and more I see these signings come through, Christian Nuri absolutely doing an incredible job yet again. Don't want him to leave. And number two, Julian. You know, Julian is, like I said, you know, some of you did want him sacked. Let's be honest, some of you did want him sacked last season. But these two together are bringing the players in that we probably need, you know. And like I said, this whole season is about Julian and his players that he needs. And that's what's looked like what's going on, you know. So when we see preseason, cool. But when I would judge it most is that first game against Millwall in the Carabao Cup on that Saturday of 8th of August, I believe it is, at 2:30. we will probably see something great. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping for a cup run. I really am. I don't know about you guys, but I really am. Right, let's look at the comments before we get into any more. So Foley says Callum Ward, what a signing. Leo Watts, how you been? I've been good, Leo, man. Honestly, the only thing, the problem with me is the heat. I don't like heat. That's the only problem, man. I hate the heat. Heat can go do one, man. I hate humidity. So yeah, that's the only thing I hate. Hopefully all of you, whether you're enjoying it or whether you hate it as well, you know, there's not much I can say on that one. But yeah, 20 clean sheets, Foley says, last season. It's pretty decent, but it is the Scottish League. I can't really judge so much on it until we see him put on a QPR shirt, basically. Paul says, one new keeper, one incoming. Julian signed a new contract, been a good week for us so far. Seed, yours. Foley says, yeah, was surprised he went to Wigan. I'll be honest, I'm not surprised at all. I'm really not, because the goalkeeping coach there is pretty decent. He's absolutely freaking brilliant. You know, he brought up Sam Tickle. Sam Tickle is an up-and-coming English talent as well in goal. So yeah. Paul says, loaning Walsh out, good bit of business. Look, the only thing that obviously hasn't been revealed that I really want to see is that, are Wigan paying his wages? So that's one thing that I want to see. Are Wigan paying the wages, or is it like a 50-50 split? Something like that. So yeah. Paul says, loaning Walsh out, good bit of business. I think we've read that already. We still need a backup keeper, Foley says. And that's where I think we have two other keepers. We have Charles coming in and Solomon. You know, Solomon will be something that we're not going to play as much, but he might be very interested in cup games maybe. So yeah, we don't know. Sam Tickle. His name's Sam Tickle. Nardi was better than Walsh. 100%. I agree. You lot know how much I really enjoyed Nardi, man. Listen, look, Nardi for me was incredible. You know, like I said, we've pretty much had some incredible keepers at QPR. You know, Chris Day, Lee Camp. You know, who could forget Julius Caesar, you know, and the one and only Paddy Kenny. We've also had one of my other favourite keepers in the Championship who I really hated when he come to QPR with Coventry, which was Kieran Westwood. Anyone remembers that keeper? Absolutely phenomenal. If you actually remember Coventry back in the day when they used to come at Loftus Road, how much of a shittery Clinton Morrison used to give us. So yeah, that was quite funny them days. So yeah, Collie isn't in the Austria squad. Have they revealed the Austria squad? Have they? Because I've been waiting. I don't know if they've revealed it yet. I would love to know if they've revealed it or not. If you guys can let me know. Oh, they have. All right. We'll talk about the Austria squad in a second then. We've got a lot to get through then today. Jeez, this could be longer than an hour. Ward did say he likes playing out from the back. Maybe Kemper will be able to do that too. Well, there's going to be a lot of runs down that wing and obviously a lot of counter-attacks. And that's how Julian plays. So, yeah. Not good about Collie, not in the squad for the trip, Paul says. DB Show Jay, shout out Jay, what a legend. Thank you for tuning in. Foley, Hulk smash that like button. Cheers, Foley, for that. H Football, are we going to sign Piers Charles too? Only on loan, H Football. Mickey QPR, ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you in the chat. Piers Charles completed his medical at QPR. It's pretty much confirmed. Fingers crossed it gets confirmed either today or tomorrow. I don't know what's going on. But he'll probably join up the squad in a couple of days. What else have we got here that I've missed? Yeah, Ward had 20 clean sheets and got goalkeeper of the season. Okay. He looks very comfortable in goal from the clips I've seen. Is he better than Walsh? That's the question. Yeah, you did, DB. Yeah, I agree. Such a shame to see them where they was. I would benefit him and us. He plays for the badge. 100%. 100%. Look, you know, there's just certain players that I think are incredible, and obviously I agree in the sense of sometimes they do have to leave because they do deserve to have a life of their own and to be first team. So yeah, Yeah, I think Pierce Charles, Paul says, would be a terrific signing for us, and surprised we get a loan signing in. We tend to not do that. I think it's more because of the availability, and we're still waiting for sales. So yeah, even to be, and you gotta remember, if we're loaning him in, there must be a reason for it, because we probably want to bring in other players on permanent basis. So yeah, even doing what's the topic, Pete says, good to see you, Pete. Welcome into the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, just chatting away, talking about what's going on this week, what's happening. We've got a busy week this week. We even got our first stream of watch-alongs in the pre-season, so stay tuned on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Busy Saturday as well. Busy, big fight ahead as well. But we'll talk about that in different video. Oh, I would like to say this before we even go anywhere further. Everyone go check W12 Pete's channel out. Go give him a check, because he's been creating a couple of shorts. I've been looking at them, I've been seeing them. Don't worry, Pete, I've been noticing you, mate. Don't you worry about that. Go check them out, they're pretty decent. Go give him a follow, and yeah, give him some love, man, honestly, because he's killing it for the social media for QPR as well, man. So yeah, go check him out, and go from there. I reckon Callum Ward would be our starting goalkeeper after next season when Pierce Charles' loan contract expires. So you reckon Charles might be the first team, Mick? I'm guessing. We have done well with signings. We are finally getting there for a solid team. Not just a solid team, but a Julian team. That's the main thing. H4 says, DB, if we get Charles, who would be your starting number one? Ooh. Damn, that's a good question. Alright, I will say this. I would like to see Charles play the Millwall game, because he has experience in the Championship. You know, I like to see that first, just because I think that there is an opportunity to see what he does for us, if that makes sense. So yeah. We need a new right back, Seed says. Yeah, we do. But there's not much been said about that. Mick says David Seaman. I totally forgot. Look, I'll be honest, I do remember David Seaman, but it's not my error, so I do apologize. So yeah. He says, now that Morrison is gone, will Solomon be our number 2, you think? Morrison is gone? Would you who's Morrison? Who's Morrison in what, are we on about Liam Morrison? Because he hasn't left yet. Seed says, yeah, look, and they have for the goalkeepers redacted. I'll have a look in a second, because I'm looking at it right now. Yes, mate, cheers. No worries, Pete. Look, no worries, Pete, man. Honestly, look, I think you're killing it, man. Honestly, keep the grind going, man. Don't give up. Freddie says, will do. Right, okay, so before we get into the other gossip of QPR, I don't know where to start off with. Actually, do you know what? We won't talk about Austria just yet, right? Let's talk about what has been announced today as well before this, because this is quite important. So obviously QPR announced 3 players into the first team today. So you have Daniel Benny, Solomon, and I think it was Alfie Lloyd, all gone into the first team. Now, obviously, it's a good sign. It's a really good sign, because I would sit here and say what's most impressive about it is that Alfie Lloyd did okay for Lincoln City on loan, and clearly Julian must see something in him to be put him into the first team. But also remember his age as well. So that's probably another thing. Their ages might change the whole thing because of obviously their age. But I also think most of them will go out on loan, or even get a chance to prove their quality. So yeah. But all 3 of them have made it into the first team. So congratulations to them. And yeah, hopefully we see something going on. So that's happened. Now let's have a look at the Austria R's. Redacted. What does redacted mean? We signed someone? Probably does. I would say redacted means that it's probably Charles Pierce, probably. So yeah. So in goal at the moment, obviously I'm gonna just say redacted. Well, not redacted. I'm gonna say Charles Pierce is there. Solomon, Ward, and Warren. So Charlie Warren which I thought got released. But it looks like he hasn't. So that's our keepers. Defender-wise, we got Keely Adamson, Brew, Clark Salter, Don, Edwards, Boy Kemper, Mbenge, Morrison, Tylon Smith, which are all the defenders that are going. Quite interesting. Good to see Tylon Smith on there. Brew, Adamson's on there, so that's quite interesting. But if anyone's noticed, I think we're missing someone on there. But I will have a look closely soon. In midfield, Isaac, Daniel Benny, Chair, Madsen, Morgan, Pierman, Poku, Seitu, Saniulu has made it. Paul Smith, Vale, Varane, all of them are in the midfield. And up front, Burrell, Kone, Lloyd, and Obuku. And then, I don't know if anyone's seen this at the bottom, continue athletic and physical development at the training ground in ongoing discussions regarding their futures. So, Dembele will not be going, obviously, because he's injured. He's just got back to training. So, he's there. The Collie Lakesh. So, the Collie one is a bit interesting because if he is going, it would be very upsetting to see him go, but maybe it's also to do with contracts, because it does say in ongoing discussions regarding future. But I will sit here and say this. In two different parts, it does say continue athletic and physical development. So under that, you have Dembele, Collie, Lakesh, and Santos. So them four there, I would sit here and say, are staying at the club. They're just training, getting back to fitness. So Collie must be coming back from an injury. Santos injured probably just the health tests as well. Lakesh as well, obviously coming back from his ACL, like Dembele pretty much is as well. So all four of them look like they're staying at the club, but they're just not going on to the Austria tour because they need their fitness done. Now, on the other side, I don't know if anyone's noticed it in ongoing discussions regarding their futures. So Zan, Sellart, Murphy, Cooper, and Bonner. I wouldn't be surprised if all three of them go. You know, Murphy Cooper's obviously going. Zan, Sellart, I wouldn't be surprised going. And Bonner obviously will be going. That will be pretty much all the money that we're going to be making from them three. Now, when it looks down to, obviously, the team itself, I would say probably one of them forwards are going to go out on loan. I would sit here and say, depending on whether he's focused on the fact being is this. Are we going to keep the players all because of fitness? If someone gets injured next season, I'm going to be pissed off. I really am. I'm sorry to say it, and you lot will be as well. This whole bullshit with the fitness thing is annoying. I need players fit and ready for this season. You know, and if they're not fit and ready, do not even attempt to play them or even bench them. Keep them on the training ground to get fit, please. I don't want to see ACLs this season. I don't want to see anything like hamstring injuries, but I know you can't control hamstring injuries. You know, it happens. You know, but the fitness team need to kind of work on that, I think, as well a bit. But for me right now, I don't want to see ACL injuries. I don't want to see ankle injuries and stuff like that. Non-muscular injuries, kind of like, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my whole thing for next season. I want to see a fit and ready squad for Julian at the start of the season where we're banging in goals. And to see Poku on there is fucking incredible. Honestly, I think this is going to be a season. This is going to be Poku season. What are you barking at? I was just knocking on the desk, you donut. Yeah, this is Poku season, I think. And I'm looking forward to seeing Paul Smith as well. But Poku, this is the season. I'll put a bet on it. Poku will have a great season this season, I reckon. You know? And I really hope he does. So, yeah. Right, so we've talked about the team, as in the players coming in. We've talked about Austria R's finally. So they're probably going out either tonight or tomorrow to Austria, or they're already there. We'll be live on Saturday. We'll have obviously, George, should we have I might tomorrow, we'll see what happens. I might put out a preview show just for you guys. Yeah, I might just do that as well, so we'll see what happens with that. Let's have a look at the comments though, with what I've missed. Does Richard redacted mean what we signed? I'm guessing, I think we said that. Man City haven't announced Charles yet. That's probably why we're waiting. Yeah, the young player needs to see the progression. That's what I like about Heston. Don't you think we have too many strikers? I think we do. I think, but the thing is, the great thing about our strikers, they're very what do you call it when they can play on the wings as well? Because we all know Alfie Lloyd can play on the left and the right. We know Collie can play on the left and the right. Burrell probably can play on the left or the right. So two main strikers are Obuku and Kone, you know. So for me right now, I think the forward line, we can't get rid of him 100%. We do have a right back there in Santos. Whether Julian wants to keep him or not, or use him as backup, I don't know. But it's good to see Brew on there. That's pretty impressive. And hopefully Tylon Smith can get into the whole regime of the championship game. So yeah, you know, we didn't have a great couple of entrances to QPR's first team. But listen, that was in the past. I hope he forgets about all of that. You know, he had a first horror one, and the second one was not obviously his fault. You know, the keeper, the referee and the linesman was shit. I don't understand how you give a fucking penalty and it was a free kick way out the box. It's so stupid, you know. I'll be talking about the refereeing anyway soon, and hopefully it gets sorted out. Yeah, I think someone has made interest in him, Collie. So Collie, I think might end up going out on loan if he's not going to get first team. You know, he really wants first team. So yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy if I hear Collie is leaving, Paul says. Hulk smash that like button. Cheers, Foley. Yeah, we are pulling muscle injuries all over the pitch. It's, look, like I said, Madsen is our main man. If he gets injured, we're fucking screwed, honestly. And that's why we need to bring in another centre mid, just in case, I reckon. Mr. Vale as well. I think he bangs in at least 8 goals next season. Jeez. You know what? I'm up for that. I'm a big shouting for that. I think Boy Kemper will be brilliant for us. I think he will. We'll see him obviously in pre-season on Saturday evening. We'll be tuned in for that. We might even have our Discord set up. So if anything, I will post anything on Twitter. So what I'll say is this right now, because we're I wouldn't say we're blowing up, but I would say we're getting things done. We're doing stuff on social media now. So go follow my social media if you want to chase anything up. You know, Discord will eventually get done soon. I'm not sure when, but it will for this season. I want us to get involved more and communicate more as a fan base. You know, I think you lot are brilliant. You lot are kind of the heart of this as well. So yeah. So yeah, we'll get that sorted soon. But yeah, follow me on social media. All the links are in the description. So yeah, we'll go on from there, really, from that part. But yeah, what do you think of our first 4 games? I think the first 3 league games are absolutely brilliant for us. But the Millwall game, the cup game, is going to be very hard, because Millwall under Alex Neil is very impressive. You know, there's a couple of teams I'm a bit wary of this season and a bit worried. So the teams that I would say that look strongest at the moment, Norwich City for sure. Obviously the teams that have been relegated are going to end up pulling something off. But I would sit here and say Southampton and Middlesbrough are going to be 2 of my favourites. As everyone knows, I'm a big fan of Kim, the Middlesbrough manager, and the Southampton head coach. I know it wasn't great for him, obviously, with the Spygate scandal. But listen, look, let's forgive and forget, man, because I know maybe he might have done it on us, but I really like the head coach. And let's see what happens when he's not spygating, and if he is that brilliant as he looks. So yeah, but I would sit here and say Kim, Middlesbrough manager Kim Hellberg, I think it is. I'm really looking forward to him next season. But yeah, I hope Sheffield Wednesday get back up into the Championship. They deserve to be there. You know, I hate to see teams get into a predicament just because of poor ownership. You know, we've been there, you know, the same as us as well. So yeah. What do you think about Paul says, yeah, not on social media, but when your Discord sorted, we'll join that. No worries, Paul. I'll definitely get that sorted as soon as possible. You know, if you're on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever it is, yeah, just drop a follow if you are on it or whatever. Foley says I predict 7 points from our first 4. So you expect a draw and 2 wins, I believe. Draw and 2 wins. And obviously the Millwall game, obviously, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Pedro says, do you think we'll get... I honestly would say this. I think we get... I think we get top 10. I'm keeping that from last season as well. I genuinely think we get top 10. You know, I think it's a very... comfortable prediction. You know, I honestly think we get top 10. So yeah, I don't think we will expect anything less than 9 points in the first month. I think Portsmouth we beat. I hope we sign Terry Devlin before then. If we do go in for him, I really want Terry Devlin. I really do. I think he's phenomenal. He's seriously gonna be someone to watch out for next season as a player. So yeah, I believe we beat Portsmouth. In fact, let's have a look at what the matches are. So, we start off with Millwall, the first round. I hope we win. We're at home anyway. Portsmouth away, we should get 3 points. Bolton at home, we should get 3 points. Blackburn away might be a bit of a difficult one, but I still think we'll get 3 points out of that. QPR Cardiff, that is going to be pretty intense because we always have a rivalry with Cardiff. But I think we might get 3 points out of that. I think... The first 4 games of league games we do well, and then Middlesbrough is where we're going to change. Middlesbrough will be our game where are we good enough to be in top 10 kind of thing, if that makes sense. So yeah, controversial, but I'd play Collie over Kone. Word Up says, listen, look, I like Kone and I like Collie. You know, Collie's brilliant. I think, you know, from someone that has always watch QPR youth, and to see players like Ray Jones, Dexter Blackstock, Angelo Balanta, Antonio. Anyone remembers Antonio? Jeez. Look, these are players that all kind of got into that youth to QPR's first team. So to see players do that, and under Julian, look, Julian's brilliant with young talent, I would say, and I feel like we still gotta wait for an assistant as well. So assistant manager still has to come in as well for Julian, you know, and it'd be interesting to whether it, like I said, Kevin Betsy's there, or is it gonna be one of the guys that he's had before at Strasbourg or Rennes. So you know, that's gonna be pretty impressive. But for me, I would sit here and say Collie would I want him to stay, but I also feel like if he doesn't get first team, I want him to go out on loan. But I do feel like he would want to really pretty much get sold, I would say. And it would be a good price if we do get him for a certain price. So yeah, I'm generally looking forward to seeing what happens with these players. I really am. I think a lot of work with these young talents could do a lot of stuff. And it's going to be very interesting. You know, Collie, like you said, Collie is someone that we want to see at QPR still. We want to see him play, you know, but is he a Julian player? That's what all we need to know. So yeah. But Collie wise, look, we all love Collie. You know, his shot is incredible. You know, he scores goals. He's very good on the ball. And you know, he's just a tremendous player. So shout out to Collie. You know, word up. Thank you for bringing it up as well, man. So yeah, that's very controversial. But look, when you're saying obviously with Collie and Kone, look, these two players are two different playing styles and they're two different players. Kone, the way he plays with Julian is a deep line forward. He's not a complete forward or something like that like Burrell is. You know, Obuku, Burrell, Collie, they're kind of all the same type of run onto the ball type of player. But Collie is a very special talent where he has the flair to get past players just by dribbling, really. So, you know, for me, Collie is technically a talented player, better than Kone, but when it comes to down to distribution and strength in that box, I would say Kone is best, you know. But I'm not trying to say who's better because, in my opinion, it's very hard to determine as a QPR fan. You know, I love both of them. I think they have two terrific players, but they have two different differences in football. You know, two different playing styles. So yeah. Paul says he would have Collie over Kone as well. Pete says injuries fucked us last season. I agree, Pete, 100%. Foley says, yeah, top 10 easy. Anything else is a bonus. Look, top 10 is what I want. I don't expect to get promoted, but if we get into the playoffs, you know, it's top 8, man. It's going to be a tough season. It's going to be one of the hardest seasons, and I say this every season because the amount of quality that comes into the championship after teams get relegated from the Premier League. It's a hard league, man, honestly, and it's so enjoyable to watch and fun, and that's why I love the championship, and that's why I honestly still think it's one of the best leagues in the world to watch. You know, a lot of people don't watch it, and people focus on top 6 teams. For me, if you go, like I said, the amount of reactions I did for Middlesbrough, Southampton last season, honestly, I love it. It's just a tremendous thing to see when you see the passing game in a championship like that. It's amazing. Honestly, you know, if QPR have a Bobby Zamora moment again or promotion moment, I'm gonna fucking be emotional on stream. I'm sorry to say it. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry with joy, man. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna break something, you know, whatever. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I back Julian all the way. You know, I back him completely. I have full faith in him, and until October, if something does look bad, I will be one of them guys to say it, you know. So yeah, but don't worry about that. Let's not get too down in the dumps with anything like that. Let's be positive this season, like what Amit Bayati always says. None of this bullshit this season. Let's focus on positivity. No screaming, no yelling or whatever. You know what he is on camera. Beatty is a legend at QPR. So yeah, shouts to them. Shouts to the ownership as well. You know, they're doing an incredible job. You know, they're the ones that brought in Nuri. You know, Nuri's fucking phenomenal, isn't he? Nuri is phenomenal. Honestly, all love out to Christian Nuri, man. Honestly, I don't know where we would be without him. Honestly, you know, to bring in the players that he has since coming in, like I said, I almost lost a lot of faith in when Gareth Ainsworth came in. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, but I'm fucking passionate again about QPR. I've always been passionate technically, but passionate in two ways. Whether it's like, I don't want to see this, or I'm loving this kind of passion. So, you know, hopefully it's the same for you guys. I know there's going to be little people out there saying, sack him, get him out of the club, trust the process and all of that. Listen, look, it's the hardest league to get out of, man. Honestly, it's a hard league to get into, and it's a hard league to get out of, you know? And that's why it's so incredible, the championship, honestly. You know, well, there's my rant for the day. There's my rant. So yeah, let me get into the comments again before we get all emotional in here, bro. Yeah, top 10 easy anything. Foley says December fixtures are rough. I would say after end of September, that's where it gets rough for us. So yeah, Charlie Austin's still involved in the club. Positive, 100%. I would love to see him be a club ambassador. Get rid of Andy. Not Andy Sinton. Who's Lee? Who's? Get Charlie in there. Get Andy sitting in that part, and get Charlie in to be club ambassador. How about that? That's let's put that on Twitter, bruv. Come on, trend that. Yeah, trend that. Ward up says Colin Burrell's pace would terrorize defenses. It would, but do you really think two people up front with a lot of pace can do the job? So yeah, Colin definitely knows where the goal is without looking. Well, we know that 100%. We know that because that goal against Wrexham, man, he's scored some phenomenal goals for us, man. And to score 9 goals in the first Championship season is pretty impressive. I know people. I'm not a big fan of him because he doesn't. You know, the hype was very big on him last season, and you know, hopefully this season we lower our expectations, if that makes sense. So yeah, Simon says, love his instinct, knows where the goal is without looking up. There you go. See, Simon knows it as well. Love your passionate DB, just like the rest of us. Shed many QPR tears over the years. Trust me. Honestly, like I said, man, I'm old. I technically would say I'm old, but I'm probably younger than Foley. So yeah. But yeah, the Angel was a tough one to watch. Paul says, definitely hardest league in Europe to get out of. Listen, look, if the one thing that I will like to see in a Championship is VAR. That's one thing I want to see. I know you're probably going to say no, but let's be honest, man. Referees have been shit this season, last couple of seasons in the Championship, right? Am I wrong? Come on. You know, Tylon Smith has had the most difficult last season in calls. You know, we've had the worst calls ever, you know, last season. And hopefully it changes. You know, fingers crossed. Things do change next season with reffing. You know, it's going to be a top 8 to chase for. And I'm looking down forward to it, man. I'm actually looking forward to Saturday, man. Honestly, I really am. And I hope you guys are too. So, let's run it again. Let's look at what the fixtures are for pre-season yet again. I know we've obviously been saying it quite a bit. So, Saturday, 5:30 kickoff. We got first Vienna. And then we got Thursday, 5:30 kickoff. Wiener. Well, I'm not even going to pronounce that second part. I don't want to sound bad. But yeah, Wiener. We got Wickham on a Tuesday afternoon. If they do change the time, then I would sit here and say I'd probably be live for it. But because it's 1 o'clock, I don't think I'll be live for that. QPR Florentina will be live for that because it's on a Saturday, I believe. Bromley QPR, 31st July, 7:30. Will be live for that. And also Wimbledon away on the 1st of August, a week before our season starts at 3 o'clock. We'll be live for that. So yeah, we will keep Sunday. Oh shit, I didn't want that on there. Sorry people. Right, we'll be live anyway on Sunday. We'll keep the same routine going. If you guys want 2 live streams a week, one on a Wednesday or Thursday, definitely one will be on a Sunday. Let me know, honestly, let me know, because if you guys enjoy the QPR live streams, you know, we'll try and be a bit more consistent with it, do 2 times a week or something like that. So yeah, I agree. If we had VAR, we could have had an extra 10 points. We could have been in playoffs if that was the case. So yeah, before we leave, let us know what your thoughts are, what you want to see next, signing wise, and also who do you think is going to depart next. Obviously, I'm going to take Murphy Cooper out of that question, but who do you think leaves next? Yeah. Friendly fixtures are not listed on FOTMob, so it will make a nice change to see your reaction first. Ooh. Well, you can obviously if you have a QPR account, you can watch it live for £25. For £25 if you ever did want to do that. So totally up to you. But I know a lot of people love the reactions for our streams. So yeah, cool. Almost an hour. We've killed it again today, man. Honestly, I don't know what else there to talk about. You know, we could probably talk about Terry Devlin, yeah, I agree, Foley. Terry Devlin, Northern Ireland, with, I know obviously as Foley is an Irish guy, he knows them players very well. So yeah, but yeah, listen, look, we got a big week ahead of us. We got a busy window. You know, I don't think attack is going to be a focus for us on recruitment, but I do believe midfield, creativity, and also defense as well will be something that we do try and bring in still. So yeah, we'll be live Sunday. Like I said, we'll be live on Saturday as well. We might even have a match preview tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but it won't be live. I'm trying this season keep match previews and match reactions off of live so that we can get more into a certain ratio of content. Paul says if you are up for doing 2 streams a week, I'll be there for it. Looking forward to the watch along on Saturday. See you there. No worries, Paul. Before we leave, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to. It does help a lot with the channel. You know, you guys kill it each week with these live streams. You know, I am trying to do stuff different on the channel, such as EFL content, different football content. We're trying to go more Pat McAfee with it. If you do enjoy Pat McAfee, then that's where we want to go with it. I'm a big fan of his. I'm not trying to copy him or anything, but I really enjoy talking about the sports I love, you know, and hopefully you guys enjoy that too. But yeah, we'll leave it there for today. Like I said, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, if you're not already. We'll be live on Saturday. We'll see you there, 5:30. We might, you know what, we'll be on at 5. I guarantee we'll be on 5 for a quick chat. You know, we haven't done it before, so we'll stay a bit earlier. But apart from that, peace, love, positivity. As always, you know the drill. We'll be live on Twitch later if you want to catch us on there. But hopefully you'll have a good evening. Stay cool. Drink lots of water, people. Stay healthy. And make sure you are tuned in for Saturday. Catch you on a bit. Shout out to all of you. Foley, Paul, Simon, Word Up, Pete, as always. H Football. Who else we got in the chat today? We got Seed, sorry. My apologies if I said that wrong. We also have, I believe, Mickey. Thank you for tuning in. Shout outs to you. We got DJ. We also have, I believe, there was another person that I saw at the start. Leo Watts, that was it. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you soon. Have a great evening. Peace out. Peace, love, positivity as always. Catch you in a bit, people.